Hey guys, we're the Hard Time Strongman podcast, sharing up a bear class of man. And today, after
Don't tell me it's a good time.
a long time, we're having another Dadisode.
Woo!
Yay! But first, a dad joke. You forgot about that, didn't you? You forgot that we did that.
Did.
Uh
I
huh.
did.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I've heard some really good ones too.
Why do Norwegians build their own tables? No IKEA. Oh my gosh, I watched you throw up in your mouth a little. That's crazy. I've not gotten you that good in a long time.
Mm.
That was satisfying.
Mm. That was bad. Oh god, that was really bad.
What do you call a guy who likes to tell dad jokes, but isn't a dad? A fox paw. Huh?
A fox paw? Would that be a faux pas?
Yeah, okay, but that's like part of the joke.
Fox.
Like, look, okay, I know it's pronounced faux pas, but it's part of the vibe is that you're supposed to pronounce it wrong. You know what? Never
God
mind.
damn it.
You don't even have a dad joke right, so I don't want to hear any kind of.
Yeah, I was
You get one more, then pull your weight. What do prisoners call their buddies on? Cell phones. Cell phones.
that's bad. You know what we need to do? We need to ban pre-shredded cheese. We need to make America great again.
Oh my. We're done. Guys, we are having a Dadisode on quiet times. That's what we're doing today. I'm cutting you off. That was miserable. So I've talked about it a little bit here and there. Are you tracking what a quiet time is? Do you have a quiet time throughout the day?
So, my quiet time are is the times when my daughter's asleep and I can actually get stuff done. So, no, I don't have a quiet time.
That was a nice quick answer from you. Look at you. So, quiet times. So to me, a quiet time is or are rather uh planned intentional quiet periods of prayer, meditation, reflection, scripture reading, and journaling where I do my daily devotional, my day planning, week planning, um, just kind of reconciliation of goals of wherever I can think of. Um, this is a daily planned intentional time where I am just on my own in the quiet. Typically, I have this before everybody else. My house wakes up in the morning, which is normally around 5:45, 6 o'clock, and this is just how I start my day off on a good note. I start the day intentionally, um, with already meeting a personal goal of mine, and it just helps me to structure the day to kind of get my head on straight and to start off on a good note. And funny enough, the more that I have my quiet times, the more I nail down this habit, and that just it's kind of built in structuring my day. If I ever miss it, I have a terrible day.
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't really have, like, a quiet time where I do any journaling or anything like that, but my quiet time is uh, usually about, like, half hour to 45 minutes before my daughter wakes up in the morning, I usually just kinda spend it, like, just getting my thoughts together, just getting, like, my head wrapped around what needs to get done for the day and how I'm gonna split it up into the times when she's having a nap so I can get stuff done, or if I
Right.
can put her in her bouncer and, let her watch a little bit of a, um, non, like, super
Stimulating.
yes, thank you, stimulating, non, like, stimulating things on YouTube. Like, there's dancing fruits,
I was gonna say, do you do the
animation.
fruits?
Yes.
I know
Oh
a
my
lot of
god,
parents
yes,
do the
and she
fruits.
loves it. I've currently got her watching the Christmas version of it
Nice.
because, you know, it's September, so it's
Yeah.
Christmas time.
I know a lot of people do the fruits. A lot of parents are, acquaint their children with Miss Rachel. I haven't done it yet because I don't know, my boys are 5 and 2, so, they do Blaze, they do, Bluey, they do
Bluey's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah, I love Bluey personally. We try to do STEM shows like, like Blaze where they do, like, science and math and things kinda built into it. I don't
Good.
I don't like the super involved ones because read somewhere about just, like, how, shows and everything are just, like, killing our attention span, so I spent a little bit, like, watching these shows along with my kids, and I would count how many seconds it took for a scene change or a point of view change. It was like 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Like, oh yeah, that's why my 5-year-old doesn't listen to me. Crazy. Like he physically can't pay attention to that long.
Yeah.
So I hate that. But I have thought a while, I'm like, man, if I had a baby again, you know what I would do? I would throw them on like just a 10-hour loop of like a fireplace or like like snow like falling outside a window in a cabin. Because I used to do that
Yeah.
on my work computer. I would throw on like the cabin like snowing. And I just like during Christmas time, I would just have that as my, like in the background if I wasn't getting a patient, just for some ambiance, the vibe. I was like, dude, I bet I could get a 6-month-old to just zone out
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
for a while. But I don't know.
So,
I never professed to be the
currently
best dad.
no, I mean, I don't think it's that bad, to be honest with you, because YouTube's got a lot of these things where they just play, like an animated or CGI, like, cabin or, um, coffee shop, and they just, like, change it for the season. So,
Yeah.
I found a bunch of Halloween ones where it can either have jazz playing in the background or it's just like a thunderstorm and rain
Hmm.
or spooky sounds, like, that's awesome for Halloween. Dude, I've had, like, a Christmas playlist of these things for years now because,
Oh yeah.
dude, who doesn't, like, love the feeling of just well, me personally, it's Florida, so we don't get snow. So, I love
I've
being
seen
able to
snow twice here. Like,
yeah, I can count the number of times on one hand when I've seen snow in Texas. But, yeah, here it's a literal impossibility unless hell freezes over. But just I love the nostalgia of seeing the snow on, like, a winter street and just kinda reliving those moments from childhood of just, like, walking
gosh, the
outside
quiet,
at the farm. Yes, and just hearing
the quiet.
nothing.
Like, I don't know why that hit me so hard, but, like, I think about that sometimes with the snow and, like, growing up in Oregon, like, I'd go out and it doesn't matter if it's, like, 8 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning because it's so white outside, like, you get the same brightness and everything, but just, like, hearing your footfall being the loudest thing outside, and then just, like, sitting out there, then just holding your breath, and then just the stillness, and it's like, "Oh my gosh." Dude, it's incredible. My wife freaked out, or she didn't freak out, but she was really amused back in the freeze in 21 because I spent most of my time
Oh, yeah.
outside because I had to, like chop wood or check on neighbors or whatever. But
Mhm.
it'd be like 7 degrees, and I'd just be standing out there, just soaking in it. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I never get this. Like, I've not had this for years. You don't understand. Like, I'll stand outside in a rainstorm just loving it. And it's like, golly, man, like I don't get this anymore. Like I'm used to just sweating my butt off or like being so hot that my lips and my fingers crack and just whatever else. Like this is gold.
Last time I got snow where I lived was Afghanistan. That was the
Golly.
last time. So that was
16, 17.
2017? Yeah.
We left in
Yeah,
17,
2016,
early 17.
2017. Yeah. That was the last time. So that's been 8 years
Been a long
since I
time,
last
buddy.
had a snowfall. I mean, granted, when we went on our, honeymoon into Vermont, it snowed
It's for a
like a
month though.
mother.
What?
Yeah. But dude, yeah, like, just thinking back to, like, the farm, walking outside onto the front porch and just standing there, seeing my breath,
Mm, yeah,
and the loudest thing I hear is the sound of snowflakes landing is like, yes.
amazing.
It's so calming. It pisses me off because then I have to shovel the entire driveway, but,
You take your ups and
you
downs.
know. This podcast is sponsored by Blackbeard Firestarter. Blackbeard Firestarter has been our first choice in Firestarter since they introduced their Firestarter rope years ago.
Blackbeard offers their fire starters, their fire plugs, arc lighters, ferro rods, stormproof matches, everything you need to get a fire started.
Their products are made right here in the US, wind and waterproof, have an insane burn time. They're basically dummy proof.
And help you out, Blackbeard let us cherry pick from their store everything that we want, everything that we thought you needed to get a fire started, and we call it our Hard Time Strong Men Fire Kit. On top of that, they're also offering a 15% discount on anything in their store when you enter code STRONGMEN at checkout.
We can't recommend Blackbeard enough. They stand behind their products, and so do we.
Be sure to check them out at blackbeardfire.com and on Instagram at blackbeardfire. And as always, stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight.
That quiet is what I'm chasing with my quiet times, that stillness. So uh especially on the weekends, I have more time where I don't have to head out to drive to work when I can do my hygiene, do my ET, get out, make my coffee, and then, just, sit down and collect myself. That's why I found that I'm the best because, I'm not just a man anymore. I'm a husband, I'm a father. I have to wear all these
Right.
different hats. I have to do things. And so being able to take a second on my own in the stillness and have my good time with the Lord. I have a daily devotional through the liturgical calendars, New Testament, Old Testament, the devotional itself. I have time in the scripture. I have time for prayer, for meditation, for reflection on anything that comes to mind. I go through my prayer list, people I'm praying for, and then I go through my own readings, um, books on philosophy, books on education that I'm reading right now. I'm like three or four different books where I'd read a little bit, at least a page, every morning. And, then I do my journaling just, on the devotional I was feelings or, whatever. And then I have my keeping track of. So, my journaling, my reading, my quiet time, I do PT, all that stuff, just so I have it on paper, just proving to myself essentially is my accountability.
Yeah.
I make a promise to myself and being able to show myself on paper that, even on the days where I don't feel like, or the days that I don't feel, you know, like I am what I am, I can show myself, be like, no, like you do this every single day. Like this
Right.
is you. Just kind of like what we talked about in the past, just fake it till you make it. If you do something long enough, you are the thing, you know. So for me, that's it's become such an integral part of just who I am and what I do, because when I don't do it, like I said, I have a terrible day. Like I feel like I'm a terrible dad. I'm off my game. I feel like I'm behind everybody, and I have a really hard time just I don't know, like functioning at that point. I just feel like everything's off kilter. Like I'm like a fraction off.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. Yeah. I guess I don't really have a true set, like, quiet time per se. Like, you know, the 30, 45 minutes before my daughter wakes up every morning is pretty much just my time to catch up on, say, any dishes that we may still have in the sink from the previous day, washing,
Mm,
sterilizing bottles. I have a pitcher. Like, I make an entire pitcher for the day of
nice.
formula. So it's just like, I'm not doing
It's
individual
a very
bottles.
it's a
Dude,
very practical. It's like prepping essentially.
yeah. Well, it's one of those pitchers where, like, it has the automatic, like, like, agitator, the stirrer,
Ooh, nice.
so it mixes the formula up really freaking well because for those of you who out there who are not fathers or mothers, you don't know the pain of having to fill an individual bottle and then dumping the formula in and then having to mix it up and for it to not give your child gas because of all the air bubbles.
I was gonna say I don't know.
So,
I don't know the struggles of formula. I
yeah.
I've never done it, but I've heard it is a whole
Oh,
bear.
it is a bear. It will give your child gas if there is a ton of gas bubbles in there, guaranteed. So that pitcher just agitates things, and then you can either let it rest, get all the air out, or you can immediately pour one, and the air bubbles that are in it through that are not as bad, I've experienced, as versus, making an individual bottle and shaking out of it to mix up the formula.
I think the
Cut that part
coolest
out.
I think the coolest formula thing I've found is it's essentially like a Keurig or an espresso for formula.
Yes. Yes.
And Z had that. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. He's like, watch this. And he
Mhm.
like threw it in and he just made a bottle. Perfect temperature, perfect mix, everything. I was like, that is fancy. That's nice.
Yes. It's also expensive.
Oh, absolutely. Atrocious, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what is that? A baby, baby Brezza? I think that's what that's called.
I don't know. We were blessed enough to be able to have our kiddos be, 100% USDA grade organic. So we
Yeah,
had
we did
when
that for
we had to, freeze and, sometimes they had to freeze and, make bottles, but most of the time it was straight from the source, straight from the tap.
yeah. Yeah,
Gosh,
we
I'm
we
so
tried
glad my
doing
wife
that
doesn't
for
listen to these. Like,
we tried doing the booby juice for 4 months, but just the health, like, strain that it pretty much just put on just because she was constantly pumping, and
mhm.
it got to the point of where it was too much. Like, she was
Oh, dude,
constantly pumping for so very little in return.
it's miserable. Yeah, I mean, some people have a whole lot. I mean, that's why lactation specialists are in business, dude. Like
Mhm.
it can get weird. Like we had
Yeah.
when C was, little, we, he had a tongue tie. And so
Right.
we had to go on triple feedings for a while. So, from the
Ooh,
breast, we had to do pumping and then like I had to, you know, feed him from a bottle, with pumped
yeah,
breast milk. And we had to do that for a while. That was miserable.
yeah.
Miserable. Mm.
I can't imagine, dude. We've been very lucky so far, knock on wood. Um, Nothing really that bad except for that kidney issue, which so far is not an issue.
Good.
So, we'll
Yeah.
see we'll see what happens over the years, but
Right.
apparently it's way more common than you might think. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. Yeah, the urologist, seriously not concerned at all, so, alright,
Okay, great.
let's
That's
roll.
all. Yeah, that's all I want to
But
hear. It's like
but
I'll
yeah,
roll with it.
yeah, I
But yeah,
mean,
that's all
little
I.
tangent there, but
Yeah, but that's That's what I would recommend for a quiet time. That's why I recommend quiet times is just, you have, and preferably in the morning, right?
Mhm.
So you start the day off on, intentionally your way, before anything can go wrong or anything can happen. And, it just has that built in time, with the Lord or, whoever God you pray to. Um, Time to reflect, time for meditation. I use it for reading because I don't really get time throughout the day. Game playing your day, being intentional with, this is my plan, these are my goals, this is what I'm going to do. And,
Yeah.
like habit tracking or, just keeping yourself accountable for things. And then the day starts. I mean, I feel like it just gives me a leg up on everything instead of feel like I'm scrambling or feel like I'm reacting. I'm being proactive on all this stuff. So it's been huge for me.
Oh, good.
But do you have anything else for this one?
Not really, no. I mean, quiet times are pretty self-explanatory, use them however you need to. Just basically
Yeah.
just get your mind right for the day is essentially what you're looking at.
Yeah. And I saved this one for a Dadisode because specifically for dads, like this is the last bit of quiet you're gonna get in a day.
Truly.
Like it's 9:15 here. My 2-year-old is still up and he does not look tired. So like,
He did not look tired.
no. So, um, your quiet time is your last day to be a singular man before your husband and a father and every other responsibility that you've taken upon yourself. So it helps you get your mind right, and it's just a little bit of quiet. So
Yeah.
highly, highly recommend. And just I think for me too, it's a pride thing. That'll be my last that's my last point. For me, it's kind of a point of pride. It's just like, yeah, this sucks. I don't like getting up at 4:45 every morning, but I am reclaiming, like I'm claiming this part of the day to make it what I want it to be, and nothing can mess with that.
Right.
And then it energizes me to do what I gotta do. So guys, that's all we have for today. That was our Dadisode on quiet times. If you have not already, make sure to check out and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Spotify, Patreon, join the Discord. Anywhere that you can hear from us, get on there. Tell your friends about it because we are constantly coming up with new stuff. This is the last Saturday before we start our new schedule. So at the time that you are listening to this, you'll be listening to Saturday, the 20th of September. First week of October, we are starting off our new schedule. So we are getting intentional with the show again. We are taking the reins again, and we are going to intentionally hit our martial skills and tasks. We're going to hit fieldcraft, medical, homesteading, and we're going to knock out all of our, you know, uh, not pending but are still ongoing series. So like the Ranger Handbook Abridged, the patrolling series, and we're going to be attacking those by week. So definitely look forward to that. Definitely look forward to our PDF guides that we are currently having under development. Currently, we're working on range estimation and a fieldcraft guide on fire making. And of course, we have in the background our book by the same name, Hard Time Strongmen. So be looking out for all those updates. Make sure that you're on the Patreon, even if you don't subscribe to the Patreon. If you are on the, if you follow us publicly, that is where we have all of our images, all of our downloadable files, everything, all the extra stuff that we tack on with the end of the, with these episodes when we post them, like our show notes, everything goes live on there. So until next time, guys, we're the Hard Time Strongman podcast, showing up a very classy man. Stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight. check out our Discord where we talk about all of the topics that we talk about in our conversations, but in deep dive format. We have a lot of members on there of varying skill sets, of varying proficiencies, all talking about all these topics, sharing their experiences. So join today and help us expand our knowledge base.
And check out our Patreon. Our Patreon, outside of just backing up all of our episodes for when we eventually get canceled, our patrons get access to our exclusive episodes, our pre-shows, our post-shows, our little tidbits here and there that we aren't really supposed to talk about. We're also opening up all of these exclusive episodes for people to individually purchase. So you don't have to get tied into a tier in order to get all that content. You can dip your toes in a little bit, decide you like it, then come and join us on that. We're having exclusive conversations, and along with the Discord, we are just building that community, building that skill set, that mastery, these proficiencies. And this, outside of our sponsor, is what's keeping the lights on and keeping all of this information, all these classes rolling for you guys. So make sure to check out our Patreon. And one last thing, guys, the world is better with you in it. If you're feeling suicidal or if you're in crisis, dial 988 or reach out at 988lifeline.org to get help. Someone's always on the line. So if you need a lifeline, remember 988. Stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight.